Iraq, a name that resonates with history, struggle, and resilience. Today, when many hear this name, they may think of conflict, politics, or headlines. But to truly understand Iraq, we must step far beyond the modern era. We must travel back thousands of years to a land once called Mesopotamia, the very birthplace of human civilization. In this story, we will journey from the world's first cities, through the rise and fall of mighty empires, across the brilliance of the Islamic Golden Age, and into the Iraq of today, a nation standing upon one of the richest cultural legacies in human history. This is not just the story of Iraq, it is the story of us all, because here, in this land between two rivers, humanity first learned what it means to build a civilization. To begin, we need to understand the geography that made Iraq so extraordinary. In Western Asia, where modern Iraq lies, two great rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates, flow down from the mountains of Turkey and curve through fertile plains before reaching the Persian Gulf. Thousands of years ago, this land was a natural oasis in the middle of deserts and harsh terrain. Rich soil, regular flooding, and access to water made it perfect for agriculture. It was here that humans first learned to settle, to farm, and to organize in ways never seen before. The Greeks would later call this land Mesopotamia, meaning the land between two rivers. To us today, it is the first chapter in the human story of civilization. Over 5,000 years ago, around 3,100 BCE, the Sumerians emerged in southern Mesopotamia. They were not a single kingdom, but a collection of independent city-states like Ur, Uruk, and Lagash. What made the Sumerians remarkable was their innovation. They invented the world's first known writing system, cuneiform. With wedge-shaped marks pressed into clay tablets, they recorded trade, laws, myths, and even poetry. One of these works, the Epic of Gilgamesh, is the oldest surviving epic in human history, a tale of friendship, kingship, and the search for immortality. The Sumerians also developed the wheel, advanced irrigation systems, and built ziggurats, massive temple structures that towered above their cities. Each ziggurat symbolized a bridge between the heavens and the earth, a place where gods and humans could connect. Daily life in Sumer was both ordinary and extraordinary. Farmers tended barley fields, traders sold goods in busy markets, priests oversaw rituals, and scribes recorded every detail. In a very real sense, the Sumerians gave humanity the blueprint for urban life. By 2334 BCE, a new power rose in Mesopotamia, the Akkadian Empire. Led by Sargon of Akkad, it became the world's first true empire, uniting the city-states under a single ruler. This marked a turning point in political history, showing that large territories could be ruled by centralized authority. But even greater glory awaited with Babylon. By the 18th century BCE, under King Hammurabi, Babylon became the cultural and political heart of Mesopotamia. Hammurabi is remembered for his famous code, one of the earliest sets of written laws. These laws covered trade, family, property, and justice, establishing the principle that society should be governed by rules, not by whim. Babylon later became legendary for its architecture. The Hanging Gardens, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, were said to be a breathtaking creation of terraced greenery rising above the city. Whether myth or reality, they symbolize the grandeur of Babylon's vision. While Babylon flourished, another power emerged in northern Mesopotamia, the Assyrians. Known for their military strength, the Assyrians built one of the largest empires of the ancient world, stretching from Egypt to Persia. The Assyrians were not only warriors but also builders and record keepers. Their capital, Nineveh, housed the great library of Ashurbanipal, a collection of thousands of clay tablets preserving Mesopotamian literature, science, and history. Without this library, much of what we know today about Mesopotamia might have been lost forever. The Assyrians were feared for their iron weapons and siege tactics, but they also contributed to governance, engineering, and art. Their carved stone reliefs, depicting battles, hunts, and rituals, remain among the most striking artworks of antiquity beyond empires and kings. Mesopotamia was a land of remarkable cultural achievements. Here, mathematics and astronomy flourished. The Mesopotamians created a number system based on 60, which is why we still have 60 minutes in an hour and 360 degrees in a circle. They observed the stars, tracked planetary movements, and created calendars to guide farming and festivals. Their advances in medicine, law, and administration influenced civilizations for millennia. Life in ancient Iraq was vibrant. Markets buzzed with merchants trading textiles, metals, and spices. Families gathered in homes built from mud brick, decorated with pottery and art. Religion was central. People worshipped gods like Enlil, Ishtar, and Marduk, believing their favor determined the success of crops and kingdoms alike. As centuries passed, Mesopotamia became a crossroads of empires. The Persians, under Cyrus the Great and Darius, ruled the land as part of their vast empire. Later, Alexander the Great swept through, founding new cities and spreading Greek culture. Under Seleucid and Roman rule, Mesopotamia blended traditions, Eastern and Western, ancient and new. This constant mixing of cultures gave Iraq a unique richness, shaping its identity as a meeting point of civilizations. But Iraq's story did not end with antiquity. With the rise of Islam in the 7th century, a new chapter began. Baghdad, founded in 762 CE by the Abbasid caliphs, became the jewel of the Islamic world. Baghdad was more than a capital. It was a center of knowledge and creativity. Scholars gathered at the House of Wisdom to translate works from Greek, Persian, and Indian sources. They advanced mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and philosophy. Figures like Al-Khwarizmi, the father of algebra, and Avicenna, the great physician, transformed science and learning. The city was also a hub of art, music, and poetry. For centuries, Baghdad stood as a symbol of intellectual brilliance, earning it the title, the City of Peace. Yet history is rarely peaceful for long. In 1258, the Mongols stormed Baghdad, destroying much of the city and ending the Abbasid Caliphate's golden age. The Tigris River was said to have run black with ink from the countless books thrown into its waters. In the centuries that followed, Iraq came under the rule of the Ottoman Empire. Its strategic location made it both a prize and a battlefield, as empires clashed for control. By the early 20th century, Iraq was drawn into the currents of colonialism, placed under British mandate before finally gaining independence in 1932. Modern Iraq has been a land of both promise and challenge. Oil wealth gave it economic importance, but wars and political upheaval tested its people. From the Iran-Iraq War of the 1980s to the 2003 invasion and its aftermath, Iraq has endured hardship on a scale few nations have faced. And yet, despite these struggles, Iraqi culture remains alive and vibrant. Its cities are rebuilding, its universities produce scholars, its artists continue to create, and its poets keep alive a tradition that stretches back to the earliest clay tablets of Mesopotamia. Walk through Iraq today, and you will see the echoes of its past everywhere. In Baghdad's bustling streets, in the ruins of Babylon, in the ziggurat of Ur, in the libraries where students read by lamplight. Traditional music and cuisine, vibrant markets and community gatherings continue to define daily life. Iraq is home to diverse peoples, Arabs, Kurds, Turkmen, Assyrians, Yazidis, and others, each contributing to the mosaic of its identity. This land has been scarred, yes, but it has never been broken. For just as the rivers continue to flow, so too does Iraq's culture endure. From the dawn of writing to the skyscrapers of today, Iraq has always been a land of beginnings. It is where humanity first looked to the stars, first wrote down its stories, and first imagined laws and justice. And it is where, despite the challenges of history, people continue to live, dream, and rebuild. Iraq is not just a country on the map, it is the cradle of civilization, and its story is our shared human story. When we remember Iraq, let us not only think of conflict, but of creativity, not only of struggle, but of resilience, and not only of the past, but of the promise of a people who have given the world so much and who continue to shape the future.